Man, it's so cool that Sonic Team listened to our feedback, and now here we are with an uninterrupted Sonic Unleashed daytime stages for an entire game. No disruptive gimmicks or side characters to slow the game's pacing. This is great. Oh my goodness! Sonic Team! The Wisps! You either shrugged to roll your eyes or barfed at the very mention of them just now, but I hardly doubt any of you applauded. If you did though, comment so below. Just kidding, I do not care. I just like the engagement for the algorithm. Speaking of algorithm, check this out. Please subscribe. Introduced in 2010 with the release of Sonic Colors, the Wisps were an attempt to give Sonic his own set of power-ups to use throughout stages. They were also made in response to complaints regarding Sonic's stupid friends and alternative playstyles that some people were growing tired of at the time. In other words, the Wisps were literally made to endorse something we real Sonic fans never fucking wanted. Punning Sonic's friends. Are you tired of Sonic's friends helping him out through his adventures and playing as him to get a feel for how his friends are actually contributing? Well, lucky you! Sonic doesn't have them anymore. Maybe all you people who whined about him in the first place can feel more immersed now. In Sonic Colors, you play as Sonic. Just Sonic. Oh my god, it's like the good old days when we just played as Sonic! The simple days in question only lasted a year in the series' life, mind you. Oh well, playing as Sonic didn't get old then, why would it now? Well, in the case that it does, Sonic Team has you covered. That's what the Wisps are for. Because Sonic Team just couldn't help themselves, they just had to slow their player down somehow. The point of the Wisp was to provide Sonic power-ups while not interrupting the core gameplay loop and flow of movement. And while you can tell they were made with that in mind, in-game execution leads me to believe differently, because what the fuck? This complaint goes out to you and only you console version, but all the Wisps require you to come to a dead stop before they even activate. And not only that, but even after activation, some of them are just slow, either because they require you to pause before each use or slow you down the more you use it. Take the Frenzy Wisp for instance. The point of this one is that you, well, go on a frenzy and chomp away at everything in your path. It starts out fast and even feels empowering to do, but the more you do it, as in eat things, which is the point, the slower you get. Like, I guess I get it logically, I'm getting bigger and fuller, right? But this is a video game. I'm doing the thing that the power-up is supposed to do, so why am I being punished? In a mainline entry of a series where its appeal comes from going fast, I shouldn't be slow to a crawl by doing something the game encourages me to do. Then, we arrive at our worst offender who's guilty on all accounts, the Rocket Wisp. Not only does this fucker force you to a dead stop before activation, but it takes its sweet ass time taking off once it does, and then, after it wears off, it just leaves you there to slowly float your way down. I'm mashing here, by the way. There are no means to quicken your descent, and this is a problem in the superior colors as well. Look! Still a little fucker though. This is only the start of what I mean when I say the Wisps actually slow the flow of gameplay, by the way. It isn't just how the Wisps themselves work, but also how they're implemented into the stages. In my opinion, the Wisps are best when they complement existing levels where you can get by just fine without them, and not so much when the entire level is constructed solely around their usage. Take this stage in Starlight Carnival where you're made to use the Hover Wisp to progress. Now, if you look closely with a keen eye, you may notice, wait a second, this is boring as all shit. If the Wisps themselves aren't going to be quick and snappy to use in of themselves, which they aren't on console but are on DS, so another common colors DS dub there, then I appreciate it when the Wisp allow the discovery and traversal of alternate routes supplemental to the main path. But when using them is the main/only path, and they're slow and gimmicky to use, then don't be surprised when I, don't want to play the fucking game anymore. But I mean, these are just my personal grievances with the Wisps. As far as the common consensus was concerned back in 2010, the Wisps were a hit with the fans and critics alike. For the time being, I think it was safe to say Sonic Team had something good on their hands with the Wisps. Until they didn't. You want to know what separates the Wisp from a Mario power-up the most? The Wisp are canonically sentient beings, as in living organisms who are capable of communication and thoughts. I mean, sure, the Mario power-ups have eyes, but do we ever see them blink? How do we know they aren't just eye-shaped patterns? Even if they are eyes, it's not like the power-ups are ever portrayed to have thought or to be capable of speech, so when I hit one out of a block and mindlessly consume it, it's a lot easier to brush it off. But Sonic Team, there's only so many times I can break a wisp out of a capsule when there's no given reason for them to be inside of the capsule. Sonic Lost World would be the next prominent appearance of the Wisps in a mainline title, and this is where things start to get problematic. But Miguel, you just skipped over Generations. Yeah, I did. Generations is an anniversary title where places and things are canonically pulled from different points of time into white space. It can easily be written off that the time meter just brought the Wisp in from the time they were captured, so them being in the capsules isn't an issue here. But then what? Did they just start doing this sort of thing recreationally? Because why are they still in capsules come Lost World? Follow me along here. In Sonic Colors, it is expressed that the Wisp have a home planet, right, called Planet Wisp, and it can be assumed that this is like their birthplace and whatnot, right? Planet Wisp, however, is only one of the locations you visit throughout Sonic Colors though, and Wisps can be found on each of the locations you visit in that game, so it can be concluded that while Planet Wisp may be their birthplace, they eventually did branch out and inhabit other worlds outside of that. The Lost Hex, which is the location of which the events of Lost World play out, is not present in Colors. Well, okay, it could just be assumed that they inhabited the place some point after Colors, but prior to the events of Lost World, right? Sure, but it's not like the game even does the bare minimum to clue you in on that. And even if they did, why are they hanging around in capsules? You gotta understand that outside of gameplay, Lost World doesn't acknowledge the Wisp whatsoever. Neither the game's story nor its premise have anything to do with the Wisps, so it's not like Eggman is capturing them again. There is zero reason given for them to be on the Lost Hex, let alone inside of capsules again. They're just here, only to serve as power-ups, and because they're just here, all that background and story relevance they had back in college is just gone. It makes their gimmickry all more noticeable. That's not a word, I made it up, but, you know, roll with me. What doesn't help, is that, they all suck in this game. Like, all of them. It's all ass. It's bad. I don't even know what happened. It's like the entire original intent behind the Wisp is just thrown out the window here, where instead of being non-intrusive, they feel like they only waste your time and do not add to the gameplay. The new Wisp they added only worsened this sentiment, cause like... Okay, shitty power-up aside, what was that music?
I hate that. I fucking despise that.
Lost World isn't a Sonic game, man. It isn't. We don't own this. We don't own this. Okay? Let's just move on to the next. Sonic 4... Sonic... Oh. Okay, come on. You can do it. You prepared for this. Sonic Forces. I'm not sure how much Lost World affected the overall reception of the Wisps, and I'm not gonna act like I am, but by this point, is it safe to say we were kinda fucking tired of them? Again, the Wisps were mindlessly added into another game just to serve as power-ups, though it isn't as bad this time around because at least it's stated why the Wisps are involved. They want to help a homie out, you know, help a homie get his homeworld back like he did for them. It's nice.
Mikey, my guy, buddy.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yo, what's up, Miguel?
Like, okay, the Wisps were saved at the end of Sonic Colors, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not like a thing that I'm imagining that I made up in my head.
Yeah, they were saved at the end, because at the end of the cutscene, they were all saved and returned back to like their home planet and stuff like that.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what I thought. So then, just I don't know why are they still in capsules in every other game after colors? Then
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't fucking know.
Aside from the white boost wisps, though, Sonic isn't really the one using them this time. Instead, it's you! Or the custom character, anyway. The avatar uses these gadgets called Wispons, as in, like, weapon and wisp. It's some of the most meta-era shit, man. Because you have the wisp as more of an equip in this game, though, using them hasn't been this snappy since, like, Colors DS. And that's some of the only praise I'm ever gonna give this game. You can either enter a stage with a wisp already equipped, but doing so makes it so you're stuck with that chosen wisp the entire stage. Meanwhile, going in without one equipped lets you swap them out throughout the stage as you pick them up. Or at least I think that's how the game works. I don't exactly remember, and I'm not going to replay it, so, yep, just roll with me. The Wisps have two skills, I think. One is a projectile/melee move that costs nothing and is spammable, and then there's a traversal move that consumes meter. On paper, this all sounds cool and shit, but remember we're talking forces here, so keep it in the pants. The Wisp fare better here than they do in Lost World if you ask me. One, because they're not actively intrusive to what little gameplay Forces has, and two, every Wisp move is quick and responsive to the player's input. But while the Wisps don't feel terrible in of themselves to use, they're held back by the poor controls of Forces, and Forces' notorious level design also makes it so there aren't really any good stages or like uses for the Wisp abilities either. Thanks, Forces. The Wisp in Sonic Forces aren't handled as poorly as they are in Lost World, but aren't handled nearly as well as they are in Colors Wii, and especially DS either. Like, here sure they're snappy, but the level design doesn't accommodate them well like it did in Colors. Now, if we got a game where the Wisp were as snappy as they are in Forces, with a level design that makes good use of their individual abilities, then we'd be talking. Oh, hey, what's up? Oh damn, 2 misses back to back. Well, maybe this third time will be the charm. Oh, wait. Outside of the re-release of Colors, Ultimate My Ass, the Wisps seem to be unceremoniously sidelined in recent times, being relegated to spin-offs and the like. What once was looking to be a potential mainstay of the Sonic brand is now just something we smile and wave at on occasion, and no one seems to be batting an eye at this either. Like, I don't see any Wisp stands out there vocally pleading for the Wisp to return to prominence, but I also don't see many cursing them off and spitting on their grave going good riddance. Aside from Premi to Remy, that is. I can't really help but view the Wisp as a product of a bygone era, because they are. We call it the meta era, an era where the franchise was afraid to embrace itself and its history, to the point where the supporting cast of all things was swept to the side. But at a time where the franchise is beginning to pay itself respect again, and the supporting cast is actually allowed to be just that, a supporting cast, I can't really blame people for being so quick to drop the Wisp to the wayside. After all, what's there to miss? I guess that's the downfall of the Wisps. Yeah, nope. You know what? The Wisps aren't deserving of a genuine send-off. Let's be real. Thank you so much for hearing me out up until this point. Head down to the comments and comment "he said the thing" if you made it to the video's end. And while you're down there, let's go ahead and give the Wisp a bit of acknowledgement. Not too much, but, you know, just a bit. How do you feel about the Wisp? Do you miss them? Which was your favorite one? And which game do you think they were the best in? But yeah, anyways, that's the video. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe, please.